Hi, Nick Collier here, and this is my shop. Come join me. We'll have some fun.
All right, well, let's find center with the coax here. And we need to bend it out a little bit. And this is as far down as the table will go and as far up as the head will go, or the quill will go. So whatever adjustments we get, we have to get now before we put the thing in. Oops, I guess I better tighten it up, hadn't I? Okay, so tight, tight, tight. Everybody's snug. Everybody's happy. Pretty good. We're almost there. Okay, well, we got a 4-hole pattern to work from here. So what we want to do is come out to the edge of the threads. Let's get it in tighter so that it doesn't wiggle. Of course, one wiggles and one doesn't. But something like that. There we go. So we've got 3 inches, 615 thousandths. So then we measure the bolt size. Let's mark that now. 3 inches, 245 thousandths. That's not right. Oh, divide that by half. 16225. So we're dead center. So basically we come out 16225. And I've got my DRO set up. I'm going to swing you up there, may as well. There we go. And we'll come out, okay, and then we're going to hit our pattern. Yes. And center point is yes, 0. And diameter is, what was the diameter? 16225. 1.622. And we may as well put the 5 in there, what the hell. Okay, and then we enter that. And first angle would be 0. Yes. And ending angle would be, okay, one last hole and we're set to go. Okay, we got 4 holes. I'm gonna go have some breakfast. We'll come back and put the chuck on and see what that looks like. Well, hell's bells, it's been 2 or 3 weeks since I picked up this project. It's been sitting over on the bench. I've been working on other customers' projects. I got a little bit of extra time right now, so I'm going to slip back into this. Well, what kind of stymied me on when I last set this aside was that I was getting ready to put the sleeve together, and I'll show you the sleeve. Right, and I want to put this on the end of this boss right here, and you know, I'm going to weld it on and everybody's going to be happy. Well, it turns out that it's ductile iron, which means you can't weld it. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to come into this, we're going to trim this down to where it's going to fit that sleeve, and then put a series of bolts around the outside and bolt it in that way. I mean, that's the only way I can think to do it. So hey, let's go for it. All right, we got ourselves a cloth protecting everything from the dust. I've got my bit turned in upside down so that it spews the dust down rather than up. And we're ready to rip. Well, not only is it ductile iron, but it's some kind of hard-ass ductile iron. Look at that. Look what it did to the end of that bit. Now, of course, it isn't the strongest metal in the world, but come on. Let me take a break and go sharpen. All right, we got a new bit in. We're gonna give it a try at that position. A little bit harder material on this bit. I'm not sure what it is, but it's definitely harder. All right, let's give that a try.
For cutting the angle, I don't know of any particular tool to use besides just like drawing it out and putting it on the bandsaw. Or the, what is that name of that one that goes up and down?
That's Benson.
Bandsaw.
So what's the angle?
Well, I mean, it doesn't have to be much, but just like run from like the middle to the outside.
It wants to be a fair amount.
Fair amount?
Yeah, yeah. You want to have a good drop. Or a good, yeah. So I would like do the, quarter inch from there all the way to this edge.
Okay.
All right, I think we got it down to where we want it. I mean, of course, we need to take the diameter down a little bit, but let's not do that until we get this this surface resolved. And once we get that, then we can slide our sleeve on. I'm going to clean up this mess before it gets all over everything, and I will be back. Okay, so we've turned the bit back around because I got to be able to see it to get these final edges done, or not edges, surfaces done. So we've turned the bit around, and we need to go in about, I don't know, 100, 150 thousandths on this surface here. All right, we're pretty close right now. I'm going to clean up this mess and then we'll test it and take the final cuts. Okay, so I think we got it. I ended up cutting just a little bit of a rib. I mean, maybe 10 thousandths under that. And we put this in here and that fits. Come on. Fairly loose. So I'm thinking a nice press fit into press fitting this to this, and then what we'll do is we'll come in and I'm going to just get a bunch of little screws and screw them into the back of this, maybe I don't know, 15 or 20 or something like that, and drill holes in here and tap this in order to get that in there. I think that's going to hold it just fine. I mean, you put a bunch of screws in there and you got it. So what we need to do next is go ahead and, well, we'll push that on later. Let's take our measurement and know that we've got to go about a 1/4 inch more. So we're going to just trim this down to that 1/4 inch, and I think that'll be good.
stuff does not give up. It just burnt that bit right back out again. Yep, look at that. Just flat as a pancake. God. All right, we're gonna go resharpen this and come back. All right, rather than burn that bit out again, I think we're just gonna use a carbide insert. And we turned it upside down, so not much to see. All right, so I've set the mill up. I've centered it, and I've gotten my hole pattern set up, and I'm going to put 12 screws or fasteners in there, and and I forgot to press in this collar that goes in there, and so what we're doing is heating this up. And once it's nice and hot, it's going to expand, and that collar should just drop right in. All right, that might do the trick. Like it was made to be. So now we're just going to let it set here and set up and cool off. And once it cools off, it'll grab. And then, in fact, it's just starting to grab right now. And then we'll come back to this tomorrow or later today or something. But we're all set up and ready to drill 12 holes and put 12 little dinky screws in that. And, you know, I wouldn't trust a small screw like this normally, but in this case, since we have 12 of them, I think we're going to do just fine. So we will be back once this cools off, and once I go have a little lunch and, you know, all that stuff. See ya. Want to do the next one?
Yes.
All right.
How do you advance
Push
to number 3?
push the down arrow.
Okay,
There you go.
so
Just bring it all back to 0.
Alright, so this one is going this way.
Mhm.
So that would be the
Just turn it until you see the numbers.
Yeah, I'll see what
Either you go higher or lower. There you go. Yeah, go to lower.
Oh yeah. Right.
Excellent.
And then.
And for the first part, for the first 200, 300 thousandths,
Yeah.
you don't put any oil on.
Okay. Yeah. 200.
And then beyond that, you put oil on a regular basis.
Okay. So let's do it.
Green button up on top. It's kind of cool how accurate it can be, isn't it?
Amazing.
I know. I had no idea when I first got my first mill how accurate a DRO was. I ended
Yeah.
up buying a DRO, but I
Yeah.
didn't know what its abilities were.
Incredible.
Yeah,
And so
And it's-
smooth too.
that's a
Just to be able to dial it in.
Right
it's
in,
just- what does DRO stand for?
digital readout.
Digital.